Hello, everybody. I'm back to talk about my feelings on the brand new Planet of the Apes movie called Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, some of you may have already seen a review on this because I did a review, and my review was kind of lukewarm. I had liked some things about it, some things I didn't like about it, and I was criticizing a good amount of things while talking about a few positives. So, what happened was the next day I saw the film a second time with my girlfriend, and it was like a whole different movie. The second time, I liked it much better than I did the first. So, what I'm going to do is probably going to replace the whole review. And who knows? I may leave it up for a while and then replace it with this one. But this is going to be more the official one. You know, a lot of times with movies, if you give them more than one chance, you see things you didn't see the last time, or you understand things maybe you missed the first time, didn't get. And that's what happened here, you see. But of course, anybody who watches movies knows not every single movie ever made are we going to afford it multiple watches necessarily. Sometimes you see a movie the first time, it's just so, you leave it alone. But I like the Planet of the Apes films. That's why I went back a second time. And let me tell you something, to give you an idea where I stand for those who may not know already. I grew up loving the original Planet of the Apes films, the first original five, the 1968 Charlton Heston classic, and then all the sequels. I was very big on them. The Planet of the Apes films are among my favorite films of all time, the series, from 1968 through 1973. When the Tim Burton film came out, Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg, in 2001, I thought that was a disgrace, an abomination. One of the worst excuses for a movie I ever saw. Horrifying, lousy reboot that, as far as I'm concerned, you could take all the master negatives, the original negatives, all the prints, and just burn them all. I despise the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes. But then, when we had the most current series, starting with Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I like this new series, current series, better than the Tim Burton film. I don't love them as much as the originals that are dear to my heart, but I do like them, even though I'm not a fan really of CGI or CGI capture. If you want, to me, it's still cartoons to me. Okay, if you're not using 100% prosthetics and the actor being right there all the time, and if you're doing CGI capture and stuff, to me that's still playing with cartoons. I know people don't all agree on that, but as far as the newer series goes, I felt Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was the best of the bunch. Probably Rise was my second favorite, and my least favorite was War for the Planet of the Apes. Okay, but yeah, so I went to see Kingdom, which is the fourth installment. And even though this is the fourth installment here, it's still going to be considered a new trilogy. It's the start of another three films, but the fourth film overall. And I'm going to be giving you spoilers here. So when we get going, please realize if you haven't seen the movie already, there are going to be spoilers. So you're better off watching this only if you've seen it already, or if you don't really care one way or the other. So in this particular film, it takes place many generations after War for the Planet of the Apes. The character of Caesar is dead from those films, and all these many years later, we continue with a new protagonist. The new hero is called Noah, another chimpanzee. And as the film starts out, Noah has to deal with a band of crazy renegade apes that come in and raid his clan and kill his dad and take prisoners from this settlement. And then he survives himself, and he goes out to try and, I guess, find his clan, to bring them back, rescue them. And along the way, he meets up with an orangutan, an older orangutan, very wise, named Raka. The character of Raka the orangutan is one of my very favorite characters in the movie. It's a shame that, spoiler alert, he dies early. And we all know what it's like to see a movie when the character that we like, it's a good character, dies early and you feel bad, you know. But this really nasty band of ape raiders winds up in the daylight, coming in another day or two later, and rounding up a bunch of humans. By this time, the humans are feral animals. They don't speak at all. They're really savages. And the apes all possess the power of speech, which I should have said from the top. They all are intelligent. They can speak. And The movie reminded us at the beginning that this all happened because of a kind of a man-made virus that gave apes the power of speech and intelligence and robbed the humans of their power of speech. Now, as we start wrapping up here, I want to get to my thoughts on the movie rather than the plot. Eventually, these renegade, nasty apes wind up taking Noah the chimpanzee and a human female named May to a kind of a settlement with a bunch of uh, apes led by a dictator ape called Proximus. This Proximus is a really good villain, as for if you like villains, and he has slaves. Yeah, everybody worships him. They have to bow down to him. He kills in the name of Caesar, the original Caesar. And people do not know the history of Caesar as well as the orangutan Raka did, who died and schooled our hero on him. So it's a good thing here in the movie. I like the idea of how people kill in the name of a god or a savior or Caesar. And, you know, that sometimes people are mixed up. A lot of times religions and worship and things like that have a backwards kind of thing going on where they actually don't really know the real meaning and what they're doing. So I kind of like that about the movie. Now, the thing is, there's a vault, a big, gigantic, huge human vault. I say human because there are human artifacts in it. And this is along the coastline of where this tyrannical ape, Proximus, rules. And he tries everything he can to get into this vault. We find out that the human female, May, actually is not mute. She's able to talk. Unlike everybody else, for some reason she has intelligence, she has speech ability, and she even knows how to get into the vault, how to blow things up, and how to get something she wants, because she actually is only pretending to be mute, pretending to be savage. She has an agenda all her own. Now, that part, when I first saw the movie, bothered me a lot. It bothered me a lot because I didn't feel it in the movie itself. It really explained how in the world could this woman speak and be intelligent when supposedly, you know, everybody that was human, their mind power was wiped out, you know, from generations ago. How did this happen? And I think these are probably secrets that are going to be revealed maybe more fully in the next film. Um, so basically, that's it in a nutshell. This time when I watched the movie, I kind of had more answers. I knew what was going to happen, so because I knew what to expect, I was able to pay a little closer attention and get a little more explanation out of that. And by the way, this woman, May, is not the only human being who can talk in this movie and retain intelligence. There's also another older male character who becomes like kind of like the right-hand man of the evil Proximus dictator, who serves the apes and acts as their informant and guide, and in some ways court jester, it seems like. But somehow he's also retained speech and is very bright. Looks to me like maybe some humans survived. The end of the film, which is the big spoiler in the film, shows you the character of May when she breaks into the vault, stealing what seems to be some kind of a deciphering key for satellites. She can open up satellites, and then she goes back to a very, very secret, really like vastly located human gathering, settlement, or a bunker, whatever, where surviving humans who are intelligent, who possess the power of speech, all these humans are gathering, and they have electronics, and they're waiting for May, who apparently was like undercover, almost like a female James Bond or something. She's waiting for her to deliver this final deciphering key, which allows them to get control and contact of the satellites, and they can actually talk to humans worldwide. And you hear at the very end, you hear people, "Is anybody there? Yes, we're here in Indiana. We hear you. We're so glad." And you find out that the humans are contacting at the end. I don't know where the future is going to go in this series. I don't know if it's going to be that they're going to try to maybe get the planet back, control, or something. So this movie, the second time around, I did think it had very strong characters. What I like about movies is I don't care so much about action. I like action sequences here and there. And you get action here for sure for the people who only want action. But you also get characters. The character of Noah, the young chimpanzee, who's like a replacement for Caesar was from the last three movies. He's the new chimpanzee hero, and he's a good character, but not as good as Caesar. But the orangutan Raka, they have a relationship, and when they meet the human female May, she joins their little group, and the three of them are working together. So all of that kind of thing is nice. I like that interaction and emotion and character development and stuff like that. There are some plot holes here, which I understand more the second time, and they work for me more. There are some things here that kind of got under my skin a little bit. For example, one of them is when there's a scene inside the human vault, spoiler again, where they find all kinds of artifacts of human life from the past. One of the things they find, of course, is a doll, just like there was a doll in the original film from 1968. And when they picked up the doll, I said, please don't let it say Mama. Sure enough, it said Mama. And not only did it say Mama, it's actually the same audio clip of the doll saying Mama from the original Charlton Heston 1968 film. They didn't even have the decency to do a new talking doll. They had to put that in there just to give you a little wink, which I can't stand when modern reboots do that. Hey, for all you old timers out there, all you people that love the first film, here's a reference to the first film. They do that through this whole series, and I'm not crazy about when they do that. They also have to use the name Nova in here, again, to call a female, which I think they used the name Nova in the last one, War for the Planet of the Apes. Just because Nova was in the first film, you have to use the name again, and you know what I'm saying. So things like that. I don't know why they feel they need to do it during the attack sequence in the daytime when the bad raider apes come and capture the humans, and when they capture apes too. There's also music cues during that hunt scene. It's like the hunt from the original Planet of the Apes. It's staged very much like it. They use music here and there, and not just in that scene. There's at least one other scene on a kind of like, I think, a little makeshift bridge thing over the water, where I hear little sounds from like the original Planet of the Apes score by Jerry Goldsmith revisited. You know, just again, just to make you feel like, huh? Remember that? Huh? Remember that? Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, but overall, this time I thought it was a good Apes film. This time, on a scale of 4 stars, I would give Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes 3 stars out of 4. Good, good film. It is a little long, and when I say it's a little long, what I mean specifically, I got to be careful here, is that it feels long. It feels like it could use a little trim. But I want to say the character of Proximus, the bad guy, the villain, I think he's a very strong character. He's really a good character in the film. And I love his speech when he says, "What a wonderful day." Is an amazing scene. It's actually riveting. The first few words he says, a couple of sentences, when he tries to rally his ape followers, and he's the king. I love that scene in there. So yeah, not the greatest movie I've seen, not the best of the Apes films at all, but a good one. 3 out of 4. The first time I saw it, I kind of felt it was like 2.5, kind of like, so-so. Another thing I'll say before I go is that I really did like that they still managed to keep what's at the core of these films. The core of the Apes films has to be the question of whether or not apes and humans can coexist. Can they be at peace? Can they not be prejudiced against each other? Can they not be bigoted? Can they somehow work together? That's what's always been at the core of a successful Planet of the Apes film. The contrast between the two and if they can make it work. So, yeah, a much more enthusiastic review this time for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.